Get a fresh look every time you shave. Get a clean look every time you shave. The Gillette look is a real man shave. The freshest, cleanest shave of all.
Have a real man shave with Gillette. Choose the world's best razor, the Gillette 195 adjustable. You dial one of the settings from 1 to 9 that agrees perfectly with your own skin and beard. Then shave fast and easy. Clean with a rinse and a shake. Result, a great shave.
Get a fresh look every time you shave. Get a clean look every time you shave. The Gillette look is a real man shave. The freshest, cleanest shave of all.
The Gillette 195 adjustable with 6 super blue blades, just 25 shillings everywhere.
Hey everyone, Matt Pisarcik from RazorEmporium.com. Today, to talk about the razor you've all been waiting for, the big shakedown, the big, giant Fatboy. What is the Fatboy? What is it? You may ask yourself, you've heard of this, you've seen this, you've dreamed of this. Your entire wet shaving world revolves around the notion that there's one razor to rule them all. And that razor is the 195 adjustable from Gillette. The year is 1957. Gillette is introducing this razor on the market for the first time in limited numbers. It didn't become a mainstay until later in 58, even 59, until it really became really popular. This razor, so classic, so fresh. It has butterfly action to open the doors and change out the blades, so that's a check mark, we love it. It has an adjustment wheel that you can change and click, and it raises a little tray up and down to perform different levels of blade gap and blade exposure. That's a check. It has a stout, masculine feeling weight and handle, check. That's another big selling point of why people love these razors. There's really no other reason. I get asked all the time, is the Fatboy the best Gillette razor ever made by Gillette? And I say, no, it's a very nice razor. I would contend it's one of the nicest adjustable razors ever made, but it's not the best. You know, how do you quantify best? But it's so classic. I mean, it looks like the kind of razor that you would find in your dad's, possessions in the bathroom, and grandfather's house, wherever, the bathroom cabinet. And it is such a cool razor. This was by far one of the most popular razors Gillette ever produced. The salesman at the time, which I happen to have known a former salesman who was working for Gillette at this time period, said to me that this outdid them all. People were, at this time, used to the Super Speed Trio, the tech razors. So they were, starting to get familiar with the red tip or flare tip, light, regular, heavy. But the idea of combining it all into an affordable price point was what was so unique about this razor. Because don't forget, we have the toggle adjustable that came out a year or two before this. That's selling for $10. To bring that technology of adjustability down to the $1.95 price point, where you could buy a Super Speed for $1 or double it and you get this, pretty darn good. And that's why it's called the $1.95 or 195 adjustable. In fact, you can see that right here, the $1.95 price point. We see the word Gillette adjustable. I have a Christmas gift set box that also says 195 adjustable. You don't see the word Fatboy anywhere here, do you? I don't. Why is it called Fatboy? Well, later on in the early 60s, Gillette did put out a slim adjustable, and it was called Slim in reference to this having a fatter handle. So I can only infer, I can only imagine that people, collectors, shavers, started referring to this as a fat razor compared to the slim razor. I also have heard people say Slim Boy in reference to this being the Fatboy. But wherever that term came from, it is stuck, and everyone everywhere wants to call their razor a Fatboy. All the time you'll see an eBay auction, eBay listing, and they're listing up a 3-piece tech razor, and they've got to put that word Fatboy in there because they know it has the clicks. They know it has the popularity. I think of all the razors, this is probably the most popular Gillette razor ever made but I wouldn't necessarily say it was the best. Certainly very, very nice, and very big inspiration to me now with our own adjustable razor on the market, looking at it, handling it over the years. Of course, how can I not be influenced on it? It's a beautiful piece of machinery. And I think that's one of the other points I wanted to make. This is where, to me, the adjustable technology really hit its stride. We have everything going for it. We have the notch center bar, we have end caps, we have 2 rivets on the T-bar so it doesn't rock back and forth. We got the adjustment dial figured out. We knew it's not supposed to be down here. The test markets found out it's got to be up here. We got a big, fat, easy to turn, twist open knob. It's stamped brass. It's nickel plated. It's durable. It has so much going for it. I can tell you, after working on thousands and thousands of these over the years, they're so well made. I can also take parts from a 1961 Fatboy and put them into a 1958 Fatboy, and they all work together. It's seamless. That in itself is an engineering marvel, that you can have stamped sheet metal parts that all work between multiple years of production. Amazing. And on that note, if you are looking at one of these razors, take a look at the bottom. You'll see the Gillette Made in USA logo here, but you're also going to see a letter code. And this is something, if you're not already familiar with it, that's how you can find out the year and the quarter of production of your Gillette razor. You can see our chart at GilletteDateCodes.com, and you can decipher the Gillette code. Now this one I'm looking at is a G like giraffe and number 1. So that's going to be a 1961 first quarter. And I know that G is 1961 because I obviously deal with these a lot, and if you commit a couple little letters to your reference and your permanent memory, you can just work alphabetically from there and figure out the year. But these weren't put down there, the date codes, so that we could make them collector's items years later, but they were put down there to maintain QC and production batches for Gillette. But we can obviously use that today to do a lot of things. A lot of guys out there want to have a razor from their birth year, their birth quarter. If they were born in 1961, January, February, March, and they want this one because that's the same year they were born. Very popular thing. We get a lot of requests for those here at the Emporium. Sorry, I've been talking so much about the razor. Let's talk about the presentation. So another kind of space age, 1950s, mid-century looking case. Obviously a play off of the earlier super speed cases in the early 50s with the plastic flap open. I think this was also designed by that same German industrialist who designed the super speed cases because they look so close together. I love this adjustable font. I mean, up here it's kind of cursive. Up here it's like this really kind of cool retro space age. I just think of Cadillacs and Chevrolets. Whenever I see that font, it just looks so iconic. And a lot of people today have ripped that font off. It came with a pack of 6 blue blades with instructions on the back. So that's exactly the way it should have occurred in a mint condition, not a 10-pack and a 20-pack, but a 6-pack. And put up just like that. That would be a, excellent or maybe, somewhat mint condition example of a Gillette 195 adjustable. Now, in terms of rarity, I'll put this back in my little sales rack here. I actually am missing one, and I have it. I couldn't find it for today, but in terms of rarity, it's hard to say. Our scale we've used to date is 1, you can find it anytime you're out antiquing, and 5, it belongs in a museum, you're never going to come across it. I would say the Fatboy is actually quite low on the scale because they made so many. They made millions of these. I can't stress that. They're not rare. I would give a Fatboy in average condition by itself without a case, maybe 1.5, maybe 2 tops. You will find them when you're out antiquing. In fact, a lot of the customers who contact us do come across them all the time at antique stores and thrift stores. They are that common of razors. And because of the way they're built and the way they look, I think people were hesitant to throw them away. It wasn't just a clump of 3 pieces of, a 3-piece razor or something. It looks like a little machine with that adjustment dial on it. So I think people didn't want to throw them away. Now, if you get into the original case that's not broken and, a pack of blades, bump it up a couple points, maybe 2.5, 3, 3.5. But it's not a rare piece. The condition is what is going to make the most amount of difference on the valuation there. But very cool nonetheless. A classic Gillette American razor. Don't forget, all of the European factories, the Canadian, the France, England, Germany, they were not making the adjustables. Only the American plant made the Gillette adjustable razors, and they would ship them overseas. So very, very cool piece of history. That is all I got on the Fatboy. I hope I have illuminated some of the myths and the ethos around the Fatboy razor, and you know more about it now. If you have something that I didn't say and you know about this razor, leave it in the comments below. I want to hear from you, our valued viewer, our valued listener. And if you do leave a comment, you are entered in to win this, the official Razor Emporium black and blue t-shirt. We're so happy that you've joined us today. Thank you so much. Please share this video, comment, like, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you next time at Razor Emporium for all things vintage shaving.